Here is something most men never figure out about conversation. The amount you talk about yourself is almost perfectly inversely correlated with how interesting you appear to other people. The more you explain yourself, justify yourself, and volunteer information about who you are and what you have done, the less compelling you become. And the man who asks more than he tells, who listens more than he speaks, who reveals himself slowly and only when it is genuinely earned, that man leaves every conversation with people wanting more of him. This is not a trick. It is not a technique you perform while secretly desperate for approval underneath. It is a natural quality that develops in a man who has genuinely stopped needing every interaction to confirm his worth. And today we are going to break down exactly why it works, what it is actually communicating, and how to develop it as a genuine part of who you are, rather than a script you run. Let us start with why most men do the opposite. When a man is in a conversation with a woman he finds attractive and he is operating from a place of internal anxiety, his instinct is to fill the space with himself, his achievements, his experiences, his opinions, his plans, his personality. All of it offered up as evidence, as a case he is building for why he is worth her attention and interest, and it feels logical in the moment. He wants her to know who he is. He wants to demonstrate value. He wants to give her reasons to be interested. So he talks, he explains, he elaborates, he makes sure she has everything she needs to make an informed decision about him. But here is what is actually being communicated underneath all of that. I am not sure you will find me interesting if I stop talking. I need this conversation to go a certain way in order to feel okay about myself. I am building a case because I am not confident the evidence speaks for itself. That communication does not happen in words. It happens in energy, and it is felt immediately, even when neither person can consciously articulate it. The conversation feels slightly effortful, slightly pressured, like being in a sales pitch where the salesman is a little too eager to close. Now consider the opposite. A man who asks genuine questions and actually listens to the answers, who responds to what she says rather than steering back toward himself, who does not rush to fill every silence, who shares something about himself only when it is genuinely relevant, and even then does not over-explain it, who seems completely comfortable with how much or how little she knows about him at any given moment. That man is communicating something entirely different underneath his words. I am genuinely interested in you as a person. I do not need this conversation to validate me. I am comfortable with myself whether you are impressed by me or not. There is more to me than what I have shown you, and I am in no hurry to hand it all over. That energy is rare, and rarity is always compelling. Here is the psychology behind why this works so consistently. Human beings are wired to be curious about what they do not fully have access to. When someone reveals everything immediately, there is nothing left to wonder about. The mind files them away and moves on. But when someone reveals themselves gradually, when there are layers that have not been uncovered yet, the mind keeps returning, keeps wondering, keeps generating interest almost involuntarily. This is not manipulation. It is just how human attention works. We lean toward the unfinished. We stay curious about the incomplete. A man who understands this does not withhold himself as a tactic. He simply does not feel the need to hand himself over all at once. And that restraint, which comes from genuine security rather than strategy, creates exactly the dynamic that tactics try to fake. Now let us talk about what this actually looks like in a real conversation. It starts with genuine curiosity about the other person. Not performed interest designed to seem attentive, actual curiosity. What does she care about? What has shaped how she sees the world? What does she find genuinely fascinating that most people overlook? What is she building or working toward? These are not interview questions. They are the questions a man asks when he is actually interested in the person in front of him, rather than managing how he is coming across. When you are genuinely curious, something shifts in the conversation. It stops feeling like a performance from either side and starts feeling like a genuine exchange. She opens up because genuine curiosity from another person is disarming. It creates safety. It signals that she is being seen rather than assessed. And here is what happens to you in that dynamic. You relax because you are not monitoring yourself. You are not tracking how you are landing. You are just there, in the conversation, interested in what is actually being said, and that presence, that relaxed attentiveness, is one of the most attractive qualities a person can bring to any interaction. The second thing it looks like in practice is restraint when you talk about yourself, not evasiveness, not mystery for its own sake, just not volunteering more than the moment actually calls for. If she asks where you work, you do not need to give her your full professional history. You can answer simply and turn the conversation back toward genuine exchange. If she asks about your weekend, you do not need to narrate every detail. You can share something real and leave some of it to her imagination. The difference between a man who does this naturally and one who is trying to perform it is in the quality of attention they bring to the other person. The man performing mystery is thinking about himself. The man who is genuinely restrained is thinking about her. And the difference is felt even when it is not consciously registered. The third thing it looks like is comfort with silence. Most men fill silence immediately because silence feels like failure, like something went wrong, like the conversation is dying and he needs to resuscitate it with more words. But silence in a conversation is not failure. It is breathing room. It means neither person felt the need to manufacture noise just to avoid stillness. And a man who can sit in a moment of quiet without reaching for words to fill it communicates something powerful. He is not anxious. He is not performing. He is just present. That comfort is contagious. She relaxes into it. And relaxed conversation is where real connection actually happens. Now here is the deeper principle underneath all of this. The reason talking less about yourself makes you more compelling is not because of what it does to her perception of you. It is because of what it reflects about your relationship with yourself. A man who constantly talks about himself is trying to build a case. A man who does not need to build a case already knows the verdict. He knows his own worth without needing it confirmed in every interaction. He is comfortable with how much or how little any given person knows about him, because his sense of self is not dependent on being understood or approved of by that person. That internal security is what every tactic in the world is trying to fake, and it cannot be faked for long. It can only be built through the actual work of developing a life you are genuinely invested in, through building an identity that does not require constant external validation to feel real, through becoming someone whose attention is worth something because it is not given freely to everyone. When you have that, you do not talk too much about yourself because you genuinely have better things to focus on in the conversation. You are curious about her. You are present in the moment. You are enjoying the exchange for what it is rather than monitoring it for what it means about you. And that version of you, the one who is fully there without needing the conversation to go a certain way, is the most compelling version of you that any conversation will ever reveal. That is what we are building at Relation Code. Not scripts, not formulas, not tactics that wear off the moment the pressure goes up. Real internal development that changes how you show up everywhere, not just in conversations with women you are attracted to. If that is the work you are here to do, subscribe now and join the men who are building from the inside out every single week. And next on Relation Code, we are going into something that connects directly to everything we covered today. Why the men who are most attractive in conversation almost never talk about trying to be attractive, and the specific mindset that makes the difference. That one will change how you walk into every room. Make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss it.